What fear had Paul in any trial? What remorse had he in any public punishment? What temptation of walking away from the Lord did he have because of his suffering? Think of these guys that went to Uganda. Exact same attitude. They went down there saying, I'm going to commit to this. And what did it say? 3 of them defected. 3 of them weren't even willing to go the rest of the way down to Uganda. They just left. Okay, but these other people knew that they would probably not survive, and they went anyway. There was nothing that could deter him, meaning Paul, from the course he had set, because he knew the character of God. He is ever faithful to keep that which is committed to him. I wish people would understand that. The most important precept that I would hope people would understand from the Bible, the most important, which is seen in almost every typological sermon I've done. Old Testament is very clear on it, and the New Testament is clear on it. It is, I'd say it again and again, the first words ever spoken to man, the last words spoken to Israel before the end of the Old Testament, the last words of the Bible in the very last sentence of the Bible. Law versus grace. Law versus grace. That is the most important point that you can come to a resolution in your mind of any other. Do I serve under law, or am I under the grace of God in Christ? If you get that wrong, you are going to have bondage in your life. You are free from the law. Paul says it explicitly numerous times. Law versus grace. But the eternal decree, the eternal nature of God's decrees is a very important point. It's something that he harps on again and again. He's doing it right here. Okay, so where was that suffering? There was nothing that could deter him. He is ever faithful to keep that which is committed to him. The body could be beaten, imprisoned, crushed, and brought to its end, but the bonds of even death itself had been defeated. 1 Corinthians 15, last week's sermon. The Jubilee for the captive had been proclaimed, and the human soul which belonged to God because of Christ was free, or in your case, is free. This was a certainty from the unchanging God who carefully tended to that which had been entrusted to him, Paul's words, until that day. The day he speaks of is the day when Christ will come for his people, as described in 1 Corinthians 15 and 1 Thessalonians 4. If you don't remember those verses, go watch last week's sermon again. There it is, the one that he says should be taught in seminary. Thank you. I feel so nice you saying that to me. Paul had already explained the doctrine on the rapture to the church in those epistles, something that Timothy was surely aware of. On that wondrous day, the soul would be united to an eternal body, one which would never suffer, never endure shame, and one which will possess a glory unimagined by man at this time. Paul knew this lay ahead, and so he stood ready to possess it without fear. Man, if you've got that attitude already, you are in the sweet spot. You're not going to let this world get you down in regard to salvation.